What is this program you speak so highly of?
It is called Film Threat, starring Alan Ing and Chris Gore. You can watch it live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Hey, it's Chris Gore, got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang, watching Chocolate Buffet. Movie and TV show reviews that you need. Film threats on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the fun, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan break the mold. Pop your corn, turn down the lights. Get ready to groove through movie nights. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the fun, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. Grab your popcorn, sit right down. Film threats, the hottest show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hollywood on the Rock. I'm Alan Ing, your chief of film threat, and guess what? Chris is not here. Chris is sick. He's not feeling well. Yet last night he posts this. He posts this little gem here. Really looking forward to this one. K-pop Demon Hunters. Yes, that's right. Last night he was at the K-pop Demon Hunter sing-along, and now he is not here today. So what he says he's sick. I don't know. Maybe he was taken over by the demon. Sorry, just setting up here. All right. Well, hey, I'm not alone here. I've got someone to bounce things off of, and let's just go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Badger, how you doing?
Hi, Alan. Let me keep up that high energy. Yeah,
I know. Hey, did you hang out with Chris at K-pop Demon Hunter?
Sure didn't. That's why I'm still here today. He must have had a lot of fun last night. All the singing. You think he blew out his voice from singing too hard?
Probably. That's my guess. But you know how much he loves K-pop and Demon Hunter.
We all do.
So here, let me get our background back if I can find it. Which one's our background? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Atomic Lori, help me find that real background. Unless
we're professionals around here.
I know. So let's just get things going by just reminding everybody that one way you can support us is by shopping exclusively at shop.filmthreat.com. That's where all our swag is. I hate StreamYard because
totally original products, not in any way, shape, or form based on established IPs that are borderline lawsuits waiting to happen.
Of course not. And speaking of IP we're not stealing, we have the Spirit of Halloween here, and we got some awesome shirts inspired by some of the great horror films like this one.
Ooh,
I don't know what film that is from, or this one. I love The Bride of Film Threat. I think I'm gonna actually get that one. Let's see. Here's the he calls it the It's Alive. I call it the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes shirt.
I like that.
Yeah. And so shop.filmthreat.com. That's one way you can support us. You can also support us through your super chats, which we will read always. In fact, let's find out who is in the chat. Badger, if you will.
Yeah, I already got 6 pre-stream legends. Mad Dog for 199. Shout out. Yelena in Spider-Man Brand New Day via Daniel Reitman. Yeah, we heard that there was an unknown hero that was going to show up that wasn't Daredevil. And then we hear this, that Yelena
is in Spider-Man.
Well, maybe if he gets his cards, he plays his cards right. But no, she's going to be in the movie for sure.
All right. Whoops. I hate StreamYard. Okay, here we go.
Napsky, you guys rock. Thank you. Yeah. Shout out. And then Badger in his house. Yes. Thank you. Rumble.
Yeah, from JTPRX.
Shout out 7589.
All right. Here's someone.
Still going by their ats because YouTube, for some reason, thought that was a good idea. For 28 months, press him to start. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Alan and Badger in the house. Yes.
That's right. All right.
Bill Preston Esquire. Bill S. Preston Esquire. I'm glad Chris recovered from his stroke. I do miss the Alan Plus episodes from them. Yeah, well.
Well, we're back. I'm back. And then lastly, Lord Flothy, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, or Rumble, and buy our merch at shop.filmthread.com, of which should have gone to the store at this point, but we got ahead of ourselves. I know. Yeah, who knows? All right, so how's your week been going so far since Versus?
Good, fantastic, not that eventful beyond watching episode 3 of Alien Earth. But yes, nothing horrible has happened in the pop culture sphere, and I'm going to take that as a blessing.
All right. So, I, unlike Chris, I only saw one movie. It was The Roses. I got early screening of that one.
Okay, because I've been going to a lot of movies lately, so I can talk about things. So I have to see trailers multiple times.
Yeah.
That Roses trailer. Is the movie as bad as the trailers, or was it good?
Yeah. I won't say, but all I'll say is my social reaction. I had a good damn time.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I can't say much about it. I can't say anything about it till next week.
Yeah.
It's, it was like I think a lot of it had to do with just the fact that the trailer it just sets up this really uncomfortable situation, and so you're seeing just the worst of the worst, and then you finally see it all in context. And I think it changes your opinion on a lot of these things, which tells you they don't know how to make trailers anymore.
That is definitely true. I think a couple movies have failed recently because the trailer was just so not representative of what was actually going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so let's get to our first story here. Paul Walter Hauser is on the Rich Eisen show. He co-stars in the movie Americana, which I saw and didn't like, with Sydney Sweeney, and he has some words to say about Sydney Sweeney. So let's get to this.
We all have a few things to say about Sydney Sweeney.
I know.
And after saying Sydney Sweeney, you sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. Just it's all done. Yeah, it's all done.
No, she she doesn't get enough credit though. I think this new movie, she plays a boxer in this movie that's going to be at TIFF, Toronto Film Festival, and I think this role is really going to turn some heads. Kind of the way like I, Tanya made Margot go from just like beautiful woman to like starlet who's knocking you out with her performance. But Sydney in this movie, we have a lot of scenes together, and a car broke down at one point while we were driving this old Corvette or something, and she like knew how to drive a stick and knew how to fix the car. It was like the engine was flooded, and she's like grabs the walkie, she's like, I got it, we're good, I don't need help. And then like did a bunch of stuff and got the car going again and backed out of a ditch. And I'm like, this woman is so capable, it's scary. She's really talented.
There are people listening to us right now on our Infinity Sports Network, on the Rich Eisen Show radio network, who are purposely breaking their cars down to the side of the road.
All right. Well, Sydney can do it all. What are your thoughts?
I think it speaks to the times that Sydney, just by being a normal base chick that like is functional and able to do things and can shoot guns, is like the biggest draw. Let's just return that to being normalized. I'm glad that she's able to do those things and change a tire and work on her car, shoot guns.
Yeah, let's pull back a bit. Let me give you my idea and see if it resonates with you. But I think Sydney Sweeney is one of those women who understands what she brings to the table. And I think there's that base level. She's got the looks, she's got the assets, the physical attributes that makes her a legit Hollywood star. But I think also at the same time, she, we've heard stories about her outlining her career as a teen. And I think maybe this is part of it. Maybe knowing that that for the rest of her life, she'll always be labeled, stereotyped as the blonde bimbo, that she has to go out of her way to prove that she's more than that. And so yeah, being an auto mechanic is probably one of those things. And I think also the choices of movies. But what do you think?
This is her $1 million baby. This is her monster role. This is her, you just have nice tits but you can't act. You're nice on the eyes. And so this is her, no, I can act. And so she's the Christie boxing movie, which I'm actually, good. Let's do this, Sydney. Let's prove that you can act, and then go back to understanding the assignment of just, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's it. She has to prove it. And unfortunately, Americana, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it,
No.
but she plays a woman with a stammer who kind of stands up for herself. But I think in that movie she's much more subdued. I think she'll be a much bigger presence in the boxing movie. I don't even know what it's called, but she'll make
Christy.
Okay,
yeah.
She's gonna have to make she's gonna have to basically make a statement and say that, not only can I look good on screen, but I can act good on screen.
Yeah, and also she's got that movie coming out, Eden, where it's like, yeah, there's apparently a threesome, but also it looks like she might be doing some solid acting. So maybe we'll get the best of both worlds in that one. We'll get understanding the assignment, and we'll get some good acting scenes.
Yeah, is that boxing movie coming out this year?
I believe. I don't want to answer out of turn.
The reason I say that is is she going to pull a Pedro and come out with 3 movies?
Right. Well, if I was going to have Sydney or Pedro be in everything, I think I'd rather have Sydney in everything.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm sure. Let's see. We've got some comments here. Do we?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Christy, it will have its world premiere on September 5th in 2025. So it is coming out soon.
Okay, she's pulling a Pedro.
So the Skeleton King for 2. Chris, you look a little different today. I don't know what. Yeah, I put a little dye up here. I just kept this all natural.
Yeah. And living
a bunch of unnecessary money. Yeah. It's what got my popcorn buckets for McFarland's. Shout out Lorthoth. I would pretend not to be able to fix my car if she was there just so I could watch. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if I were Sony, this is what I would do. I would take Sydney Sweeney, get a meeting with her, give her a stack of Black Cat comics, tell her go through them, and pick one, and then match her up with a comic book writer to write the script, and then just pull a movie together.
The irony that out of Madam Webb, she read all the source material for her character only to have almost all of it not used, and or a 10-second suit scene of her in it that she had to beg for them to keep in.
I mean, was she Spider-Woman in that one, or
she's supposed to be a Spider-Woman? Yeah.
I mean, it was the black suit with the
I think their idea was to have their own little Sony multiverse, and so they took every extra character they could from the Spider-Verse and then with a woman shift, because at the time, down with men.
All right, let's move on here. Oh yeah, you saw Fallout.
I saw the first season. Yes,
first season. So what's your impressions of the first season?
I enjoyed it. There's a quick preface to the Fallout world. There's the original 2 Fallout games that are top-down isometric, and then there's Fallout New Vegas, which is made with sort of the same themes and all that. So people very polarized like those, and then they don't like the other ones from Bethesda, the company that makes them and is working with Amazon. I played all of them. I like all of them, and this was extremely faithful to all of the video games, down to some of the character decisions, which were outright stupid, and then there was a game mechanic that they translated for why that character was stupid. So if you don't know anything about it, I can just tell you someone's played all the games. Yeah. It is very accurate, maybe even to a fault to the games, its aesthetics and designs and rules.
So the show captured it.
I thought so. One of our beloved Lori said she thought maybe the Ella Purnell character Lucy might have been a girl boss, and it was no, this is how you do a female character that's not a girl boss. She gets her ass kicked. You explain how she knows what she knows. She struggles with other things she doesn't know, and then she goes where she just doesn't win every fight because bypass the compressor.
Yeah. I mean, my experience with Fallout is similar to one of the great gamers out there, Gary Nerdrotic. I spent an hour trying to get out of the vault.
The door.
Yeah.
Was this the recent ones?
No, it was a couple of years ago. I couldn't tell you which version it was, but I know it was free on Xbox Game Pass.
It was probably the third one where, I mean, Liam Neeson of all the people was one of the actors. Plays your father, and you're looking for him. You couldn't leave the door.
Well, no, I finally got out the door, and then I got killed by some rabid wolf or something like that.
That sounds about right. That's also pretty accurate. Yeah, I think the big people the problem people have with it is it's gotten into the territory of adapting Fallout New Vegas, which is what this whole second season seems to be involved in, and that had multiple endings. So now you're stuck with, no matter what ending you pick, you've alienated someone's decisions. And people complaining about lore changes. It's like, well, it's been 9 years since the last video game of it that we saw. So the lore has just changed in that time. And again, even with that, a lot of times when people say that they played the game, I don't believe them. But I do believe Christopher Nolan actually played at least one of those Fallout games multiple times, like he says. Jonathan Nolan, excuse me.
Jonathan Nolan.
Honestly,
even that is like, oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Christopher did either, based on some of the conversations. But yeah, no, Jonathan Nolan, his wife, was Lisa Joy. Yeah, I do believe he played it.
Okay, yeah, because it gets boring on the set.
They just got too much right.
I mean, what's the and you know, for me, it was just getting out of that vault. I mean, real quick, what is the basic conceit of Fallout? Why, you know, what is it? What does the TV series carry? What does the series tell us?
Well, the best part about anyone is that any Fallout game, or most of them, is you start out in a vault. You're told that the world is destroyed, and you're all that's left after a post-apocalyptic in a vault tech vault where you've been kept safe. And there's always something that makes you have to leave the vault. The water purification ship breaks. Your father leaves, and you go after him. Something that leads you to go a call to adventure, and then you go out and you realize, oh, the world is still here, and there's mutated animals, and there's survivors, and there's different factions, and it's very parody, retro-futuristic, you know, tongue-in-cheek. It's Mad Max with humor, basically.
All right. Well, let's season 2's coming out, so let's take a look at the teaser trailer for
every single second and frame of that. If you were to EFAP it, was some form of Easter egg directly from the game. Oh, she did in slow motion. She's using VATS. Ooh, a death claw. Ooh, the print. Like literally every single second of that is one just big. That's how it ceases to be an Easter egg, and it's just they made the Fallout world.
Yeah, I mean, what do you attribute the getting it right? I guess
I dare say that he might actually really like and respect the video games. Like for once, we got a showrunner that does not hold contempt for the thing that they're working on and need to improve it. It looks like he just wanted to play in that sandbox, and he's playing by the rules.
All right. Well, let's see what everyone has to say about this. Go ahead.
Napsky for 5. Robert Downey Jr. can't save Doomsday, but Spidey may help. But that clusterfuck cast and Disney Plus homework has to be addressed. Otherwise, it's a hot mess.
Yeah. Why are we not excited about it? We know why we're not excited about it. Nothing leading up to it is giving us any clues what Doomsday is going to be about. And Spider-Man won't do that.
Only leaks, but can't really trust those. Daniel Lopez for $4.99. Fallout Season 2 reaction. Guys, great to see you. Should check out Batman, the Legacy Lego game trailer 2. It's great. Have greatest agents. We shall try.
Yeah, because let's see. Here we go.
Nick Gore.
What was that? 2. Can you say it quicker?
No, I think I should put a space in there. Did Christopher Franklin Gore stroked out again? JK? No, he's just taking one of his court-appointed rest days.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Napsky, what happens in Vegas? Yeah. Many of thank you to Tom.
Okay,
what happens in Vegas? Yeah, well said on Fallout, Badger. The whole other thing is many of the major cities are destroyed in the opening shots of the war, and it's never clear who shot first, China or America, because they're sort of in a global thing. Vegas is
bring China into this, Badger.
I'm sorry, we have to. We annexed Canada, if it helps you in that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Robert House knew about the bombs and had lasers on top of all of the casinos, and was able to shoot down all but like 1 or 2 of the nukes. So that's why Vegas remained and is still somewhat of a city state after the war. They should have shut at the Caesars. Legion. You'd think you'd like them.
So the first season was just getting us to Vegas eventually.
It would seem like, and introducing that 0-point energy thing that the Enclave had, free energy, which is always an argument about some sort of some device that'll restore the world or be controlled by, because whoever bringing back the world controls how you bring it back.
Okay. All right.
Napsky, Fallout 3 and New Vegas are so damn good. They're goated. Absolutely goated. Great
Oh,
games.
well, if they were goated, I would have gotten out of that damn
Gotten
hole.
out of that door.
All right. From over at Rumble.
Shout out just another Dave 75. Bethesda and Todd Howard hate that. No, they don't. And he's said multiple times how much he likes Fallout New Vegas. But Bethesda and Todd Howard hate that Fallout New Vegas is so beloved and their East Coast storyline games aren't. They are going to feasties on the West Coast Mojave story, lore, and story all they can. But DEA.
Yeah.
Drug
that's
Enforcement
the bait and
Agency.
switch. They give you a good first season and then they're going to take it away.
Remember, Alan, I told you there's those people that like the first 2 games in New Vegas. They staunchly hate anything Todd Howard, Bethesda, this show, the game 3, 4, because they have this perceived notion that they somehow don't like those earlier ones. But Todd has said he does. So, and you could see how respectfully they're treating it all. The Claw. What are you doing? The Claw.
All right. And then lastly,
Matthew Hammond for 2. Shin Godzilla should have been poorly dubbed.
Not a fan of the dubs. I'll give you a great example. My daughter wanted me to watch Haiku, and we had what was it? It was on Hulu. They had it in what was it? Oh, they dubbed it, while at the same time I have my Hulu set to closed captions. And let's just say the closed captions had nothing to do with what was being said out of the mouths of these people.
Godzilla -1 for sure. That's one where the dub made her at the end say something that is very alienating, but when you hear it in the original, it's not.
You saw Godzilla -1 dubbed?
I no, without it.
Oh,
I saw it like subtitled because I knew there might be, and then I saw that was the controversy that people were hearing it dubbed. They were missing. It makes her sound much worse than what she actually says to him about is your war over now?
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that it's not just merely dubbing, but it's fitting words to mouths, and that's the thing that kind of makes me shy away from dubbing, and I'd rather read it. The problem with Shin Godzilla, though, to your point, is that the captions move lightning fast. The subtitles, where you are, who these people are, I don't have enough time to read any of it. So yeah, they could have at least slowed it down, but the Asians, they speak fast.
I would never say that.
All right, moving on. Let's see. Here we go. Just because we like James Gunn, you've got this article here. Let me
when Chris said that James Gunn is truthful most of the time, I had an aneurysm.
I know,
but him.
But the thing is, like many things, you just can't escape James Gunn. And James Gunn was recently on the Rainn Wilson podcast. Is that what it is? I believe so.
Yes.
And you've got the notes there. James Gunn takes Rainn Wilson inside his DC cinematic universe. I'm sure this will be enlightening.
Yeah. Because there are definite differences between the MCU and the DCU. So James Gunn is reshaping the DC universe with a bold mix of cosmic spectacle and grounded humanity. And Superman sits at the center of it. Gunn's creative role at DC Studios has been intense. Even while running DC Studios, Gunn continues to write heavily, including the Superman sequel and a Clayface film. He credits his partner, Peter Safran, with handling the business side, noting, "My job here is truly as a creative force. I write, I direct, and I deal with other writers and directors on their projects." The DCU he's mapping out is designed to feel distinct from Marvel or other franchises. Unlike worlds rooted in real cities, Gunn stresses, "There is not a New York City in our DCU. There is a metropolis, Evergreen, and Coast City. In this universe, superheroes or metahumans have existed for over 300 years, shaping history alongside governments and corporations." Gunn envisions 3 major power blocks: the metahumans, governments, and corporations such as Luthor Corp, Wayne Enterprises, Lord Tech, and Stag Industries. These entities aren't inherently villainous, but Gunn explains, corporations are amoral. It's dependent on the morality of the figurehead. That's especially true of Lex Luthor, once hailed as a visionary for developing efficient batteries and clean air cars. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Well, who do you think he's supposed to be? Luthor's accomplishments were overshadowed by Superman's arrival. He was considered the greatest guy in the world a few years ago. And then this guy with dimples and a glint in his eye and a silly costume came in and made him feel like shit. So he's been sort of obsessed with him ever since and has gone evil, Gunn explains. For Gunn, world building is the real reward for taking the DC job. He compares it less to Marvel and more to the sprawling sagas like Game of Thrones or Star Wars. We're building a universe and then picking out little pieces of it and telling individual stories from that universe.
Yeah. Well, it's no secret. People know I liked Superman. I quite enjoy it. I've seen it 3 times. But the thing I noticed, and the thing that really came out while watching it right from the start, was this is decidedly a James Gunn world. It's not the DC cinematic universe. It is James Gunn's DC cinematic universe, because it reeks of his storytelling style. And you know, having seen it in 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I did like it. And I'll say, for me personally, my judgment is still out whether it can sustain itself, because Superman was definitely, tonally speaking, a different movie than I was expecting, and I was not hoping for this kind of a world. I was kind of hoping for a Richard Donner type of Superman world. And so, you know, this is a very different Superman, and I'm probably the only one who'll say this, but I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. Badger, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a Superman for a younger generation. You're talking to someone who streams with a guy who absolutely hates James Gunn, and so I was constantly trying to steel man and see best interpretations. I commonly cite Bo DeMayo as the correct way to handle a franchise, where even if you have strong political views and or favorite characters, you know the world inside and out, and you make the best choices for the story and the characters, and you do certain things because it just needs to happen. That's a sacrifice that is rare in writers and in Hollywood, and unfortunately, James Gunn does not have it. He's not made one decision, I think, because it was the correct choice for building a healthy DCU. He's made them all just because he likes it. If he likes it, it's the correct decision. And the whole thing going around of we don't shoot until there's a script, and it's a good script, which is why we've gotten Clayface, because his friend came to him with a good script, and by on his own words, we needed content, so we took it from Elseworlds to put it in this. Man, you still got to be a little more tactical. And now we hear he's fast tracking his Superman saga, but all he has is a treatment. So now we're starting to film something at the same time of Batman that has no finished script. Kind of goes back on.
You're saying he's filming Superman already?
He's apparently it is being fast tracked to film at the exact same time as the Batman 2.
The Matt Reeves Batman. Okay, so
yes,
the Matt Reeves Batman is not in the DC.
No, it is not. So that's the other thing. We've announced a bunch of potential projects without casting our core characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think a lot of the idea that you need a script beforehand is, to me, it's more of a financial decision. You know, you can't do Marvel. You can't do the Marvel method where you shoot your movie and then you go back and shoot it again. You know, I mean, if you're going to shoot
sometimes again,
yeah, and again and again. I mean, there's, you know, that the Superman speech was, I believe, added after the first screening we heard about. You know, yeah. The other thing is, you know, okay, I'll defend James Gunn here. At least he has a vision for the thing. At least he knows what he wants. Whether you like it or not, that's ultimately going to be whether this succeeds or fails. Whether pulling himself out is going to make things better, or keeping himself in is going to make things worse. You know, I think also, you know, the idea that there are all these metahumans and stuff like that, it kind of, to me, I guess that sets the need for having a James Gunn kind of world. I do agree with you all when it feels like he does things to characters because he thinks it's cool, because he likes it, as opposed to staying with the lore of that character. But yeah, like I said, I'm just not willing. I'm not at the moment going to lay judgment and say this is a complete failure at the moment.
I await for when you do, because based on that behind the scenes and some of the other things I've heard him say, I do not believe he has a vision. As his own brother said, he's got a couple of bullet points where he knows he wants to go to, but the pathway there. So we could go around the world a couple times before you get to those bullet points, and then we may never get to those bullet points, as evidenced by his first slate of announced movies that now looks completely different. The original Gods and Monsters. So I don't actually think he has a plan beyond his own immediate.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right in the idea that he just needs content. So that's why Clayface, that's why Supergirl is out there. To me, what I think people misinterpret about Clayface is, why are we making a rated R movie when you just made a kids movie? And to me, it's like, I think one of the smart strategies is the idea that you don't have to see all the movies. You just see see whatever movie you want to see. So it's not mandatory, in my mind at least, that you have to see Clayface. And also, I think Clayface has come in at a much lower budget than
much lower. I think, but it's one of those things of like Skeleton Crew and Andor. I would be much more amenable to those if there were mainstream movies that I was getting what I wanted. Like here, to me as a nerd, I just see another project without Batman in it. Same thing with Edgar's reported Henchman show. It's like, oh, good, another thing without Batman. Cast your Batman, and then we'll talk about all the villains spinoffs you want, right?
Yeah,
but I'm not getting mine, basically.
Yeah, well, here's the issue with Batman, because Matt Reeves, it sounds like he's going to get a third movie, a third Batman movie, which means if Batman comes out, his next Batman movie comes out, is it 27?
27,
and then you're going to wait 2 years maybe to get a third Batman movie, 29 in 29.
You won't make it.
Yeah, you won't. Well, let's just assume that's the plan.
Yeah,
that means you're not going to get a Batman until,
because he said
at earliest 2030.
Two Batman movies will not release in the same. So if it's a Matt Reeves movie, it's not going to release in the same year as whatever his Batman Brave and the Bold is. But you're telling me we're not going to get Batman until 2028, 2029? I don't think we'll make it till then.
I know we won't make it till then, but I think that's the plan.
Oh, that's not a good plan.
I can't imagine that, even though he says that you could have alternating years of a different Batman, I don't think you can do that. I think that will create a lot of confusion. Like, which Batman are you talking about? Ultimately, that's the big thing.
That is the big thing, and that's when he makes decisions, and I don't think he thinks of the ramifications. So he goes, "We're going to do a Teen Titans," but then he doesn't think of what those teens, who are the actual Titans? Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Flash. So now you've got people imitating a version of the character that you don't have cast yet. So
I will grant you that as much as we like to think he has a plan, he doesn't have a plan. It's just, let's take the most optimistic viewpoint on this. When a good script comes along, he'll make it, and he'd like to see certain characters come out, and we'll see. But I don't think he's locked into, okay, there has to be a Wonder Woman movie next, or there has to be a Batman movie, or there has to be this, or there has to be that. It's whoever submits to him a good script, which like I said, I'll take the optimistic viewpoint. It's a different way of doing things, and I'm kind of okay with seeing how it plays out.
He does clearly have some, like, it must be Peter saying, dude, you got to get your Wonder Woman, because we heard Anna Nogueira did Supergirl script, and it was so amazing that she was writing the Teen Titans script, and we heard that for months. Right. And then all of a sudden it was no, she's writing Wonder Woman. It's being fast tracked. Right. And then we acted like she was never writing Teen Titans, and she was pulled off a long time ago to work on Wonder Woman. So clearly some element is telling him Wonder Woman now.
But what he's doing, and this was in the Josh Horowitz interview, was if the script's not working, it's not working, right? And so we're not gonna, unlike Disney, we're not gonna force it to work. What was the one they canceled, or the one that's on the back burner now? I forgot the name of that project. But there was a project that just wasn't. They just couldn't get the script. I think Matt Reeves was working on it. They couldn't get the script.
You meant for? Sorry, I thought you meant for. Yeah, I believe it's either Swamp Thing or The Authority. One of those.
Oh, The Authority.
The Authority. Yeah.
And he just basically said, "Look, it's not working, and so we're putting it on the back burner at the moment," which is something you wish Disney was doing.
Yeah.
Because then we wouldn't have had phases 5 through 6. And all the crap that came out of that.
Well, at least Kevin said, was quoted as saying that, like, there's just some characters we're never going to hear from again from those aforementioned phases. And I'll be all right with that. I hope Supergirl is great, because Supergirl is going to tell me everything. If Supergirl doesn't crack 400 million or 500 million, I think he's done. and yet he's writing another Superman movie. You know, I don't get it.
Well, look, I think I believe it that they're happy with Superman, with the performance of Superman, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Warner Brothers has an amazing 2025 track record. 6 movies in a row, opening at over 50 million opening weekend. Look, their stock price has doubled since the beginning of the year. Warner Brothers is in a very happy financial position. And so maybe Superman didn't make its money back, but they've got more cash laying around.
That's big of you to admit, Alan, because I've been jujitsu'd a billion different ways of how it's totally profitable.
Well, this is the other debate. Is it a failure? Look, if you make $500 million, is your movie a failure? From an audience standpoint, you still got to get people in the theaters to pay and watch your movie, and they were able to round up $500 million to do that. That's a lot of movie makers would love to have that kind of result. Then you can go on the other side of they spent too much money. Well, yeah. But they made $500 million. So now you know where, as Chris says, where your market cap is.
I've definitely heard what the new billion is supposed to be, but yeah, we won't know until if I had told you 10 years ago that James Gunn was going to own the DC universe and the first couple of projects were going to be Superman and then Peacemaker, Lanterns, a Clayface movie, and Supergirl, would you kind of go, well, that's an interesting choice of lineup? A lot could change between now. I mean, Lanterns is going to be a big one, how people respond to that. And then I think Supergirl will be the biggest.
Yeah. Right. And Clayface will say a lot about whether James Gunn can read a script and know it's good.
Yeah, well, that, and I feel like Clayface will get the Sony treatment where people would discount it as like, well, yeah, but that was going to be Elseworld, and it's only, you know what I'm saying? It'll get some sort of excuse for either way.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, Creature Commandos. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay, let's go to your comments.
Yes.
Here we go.
I will not eat the bugs. I just don't have much interest in comic book movies. Shout out at this point. I don't care if they're made Dan Close Cinematic Universe or Image comic stuff. It's just tiresome.
Yeah, because no one knows how to make them anymore.
Sorry, Gunn's blue eyes were piercing into me just now. Bill S. Preston, Esquire. Yeah, there's Gunn, the writer director, and there's Gunn, the executives. Executives lie all the time. It's in the job description. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at Flash.
I actually believe that's his favorite. I do believe he liked that movie the way he did. After watching Superman, some of the shots and like cinematography, I kind of believe that.
Okay,
he did. Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not going to shit on his own films.
True. Yeah. No, but
even if they're not his,
he's an executive now, so it's going to bebehoove him to spin everything into a positive. Yeah,
everything is great.
We like everything. My nephew, shout out Andy, likes Stuff Channel. My nephew just has come to visit his mom and dad for a month from film school. I asked him if he'd seen Superman. He said, "Yeah, 3 times. It's awesome. It's like the cartoon." He's 21 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 21-year-old film student likes it. That's a good reason. You're right, Alan. I take back my critiques. Shout out,
look, Freaky Friday is making a lot of money. You may not like it. It may not be for you, but it found its audience. All right.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis fans. A.D. Ellis, shout out. For a guy who calls himself a director, it sure looks like he can't even shoot a picture of himself. That's the biggest thing, is he needs to learn how to do marketing and market the product, not himself, because everything has been starring James Gunn.
Yeah. The only few people have been able to get in front of the picture and talk about it, and Walt Disney is that one person. All right.
Swingyami, I think they picked him because he's a good choice for Justice League, more so than being a good choice for Superman.
So James Gunn was picked for Justice League.
Did you watch the hour behind the scenes doc? I know you're a busy man.
No, I did.
One of the things that was very apparent is that it was Peter Safran's dream to do a Superman movie, and he convinced James to do it. And James doesn't like Superman, says so himself, finds him a boring, uninteresting character. And it wasn't until he read All-Star Superman and adopted his dog and thought, what if this dog had superpowers, that he found his way into the Superman movie. But by and large, no, I think he's correct. He was chosen for group ensemble things like Justice League and Teen Titans. not
All
solo
right.
characters.
All right. All right. Let's move on here. Just going down the list. But hey, YouTube is becoming a thing, especially when it comes to the Oscars. I've not read this article. I'm just going off of the title here. If you've been following Film Threat for a long time, we, Chris and I, and many others have been covering the Oscars live as it moves on. And the first year we decided to do it was the year of the slap, and that's kind of what launched Film Threat into a 40,000 subscriber channel to a 50,000 subscriber
I
channel.
was watching and then had the pleasure to be on one of the last ones. And the biggest problem is while we're watching it, people are like, you're not saying anything because we're watching. So this would solve a great one, actually.
Yeah. So here we go. YouTube. Yeah, let me just set it up here. YouTube is making a play to host the Oscars. Badger, do you have that?
Yes.
Story? Okay.
The race to host Hollywood's most prestigious awards show is heating up, and one surprising contender has entered the mix. While familiar players like ABC, NBC Universal, Netflix, Amazon, and CBS are circling, YouTube has inquired about acquiring the rights to the Academy Awards, according to the report. YouTube has demonstrated a growing interest in live events, acquiring the rights to NFL Sunday Ticket, and bidding on other live sports. If YouTube were to succeed, it would mark a seismic shift for the Oscars, which have aired on ABC for nearly 50 years. Supplanting ABC and Disney as the official home of the Academy Awards would be a huge statement from YouTube and a shock to the industry. Just a decade ago, YouTube was derided as a thriving pariah, pariah. Yet now it stands as the single most watched video platform in the world and king of all media. Ooh, not Howard anymore. The Oscars, meanwhile, have struggled with declining relevance. A move to YouTube could generate the very attention the show needs. Shifting the program to YouTube would generate a lot of attention for a show that has been losing relevance each year. The piece explains, with its massive global reach, YouTube could deliver eyeballs and offer a giant global platform unlike any competitor. Please make celebrities read super chats during speeches.
Yeah. Oh, is that how it's gonna work?
Nick Gore says, oh no.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Look, I'm very old, and I am so used to watching the Oscars and everything on television, on network television, that there's something, there's a tradition there. And I think I'm coming to the grips of that tradition is long gone. For example, I have a very large television, and what do I watch on it? I watch YouTube on my very large television. I have DirecTV, of which I spend way too much money on it. And I watch wrestling on DirecTV. The networks. I hate commercials. I don't watch networks live anymore. In fact, every year it's like, why am I holding on to DirecTV? And the main reason is so that I can do the Oscar live cast, because that's where I get, that's where I watch it, so I can do the live cast. That seems to be the single reason I have for television. YouTube has definitely taken over. Also, when my kid was growing up, that's all she watched was YouTube. All these kid creator channels. Loved it. People taking My Little Pony figures and telling stories with them. Taking Frozen action figures and telling stories with them. That's what she watched. And then and she still does that. As much as I hate seeing the networks go down, I feel like it's inevitable. And I think the Oscars going to YouTube is just it just feels inevitable. Maybe not YouTube, but it could certainly go to Netflix.
ABC retains the rights till 2028, so we've got a couple more years of it. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of going to be a I mean, I have cable and it's through YouTube TV, so either way I'm watching through YouTube. It's just going to be the everything. It got there. It has the technology. It still works better than every other streamer for the most part, that and Netflix. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the future of television then?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be will there be people that just want to turn something on and channel surf? Yeah.
Mhm.
But that could, that'll be in some form. But I think most of it's just going to be curated. We're in a weird transition because we went from having to catch things on TV. Maybe we were recording stuff and you'd always mess it up and record the wrong channel, to having things on demand. I used to fantasize about having a channel that would just play Simpsons and Married with Children. I could do that now if I wanted. But in the future, you sort of mentioned it. I mean, your grandchildren might just be saying what they want into an AI and having it make it. We don't know with the pack that you bought, the Bluey pack or the whatever the hell. Oh, you want Rugrats? Here. And it just does it based on IP. So yeah, this is just another in the slow lines of everything's going to be streaming eventually in some way.
Well, my biggest fear is that PBS is going to go away and find irrelevance.
I used to love PBS.
I know. Well, they used to have good stuff on PBS.
Yeah.
Although, okay. This is not about PBS. All right. Let's see what do you have to say?
Shake from Hunger Team doesn't just gives $10 and just make sure we're paying attention. We're looking at you, Shake.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I too am old and never watched the Oscars until Film Threats watch-alongs. Well, because they're boring.
I mean, I used to watch. Well, I mean, I still do. I watch the Oscars every year religiously. That's just because I'm a big fan. And back in the day when it was hosted by Johnny Carson for year after year after year, it was a spectacle. You had all these celebrities that you love. They come out and dress up, and they put on they dress to the nines, and it was this magical spectacle. And then it wasn't. Yeah. And then Prince beat the Muppets for best score in a movie, and it all ended that day.
Yeah, I think I grew up during the Billy Crystal reign of hosting. Red wine is fine. Commercials and trash. The biggest reason I refuse to have cable TV or direct TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife is like, we don't need it anymore, and I'm starting to believe her now.
Yeah.
All right. Let's next topic. Let me grab this here. Oh, this looks like fun. Whoops, hold on. Sorry, I got it. All right.
Chat, we got it.
We got it. Here we go. We're going on to Kumail Nanjiani has something to say about the Eternals, particularly why it failed. Did it fail?
Horribly.
All right, let's take a look. Here we go.
That movie was going to be like really, really well reviewed. You had like legends, Salma Hayek, you had Angelina Jolie, you had new people who were amazing. And they sent us on a big like global tour promoting the movie when that movie came out. And the reviews weren't good.
And you were aware of it while you were on tour?
Yeah, I was too aware of it. That was very, very tough for me. How does it take so much money to make something that looks like shit? So much money's wasted. Not very much of it has to do with the actual quality of the movie. And that's when I was like, some shit's got to change.
I still think at some point people are going to like rewatch that movie and realize that there's a lot more to it than they gave it credit for.
Marvel thought.
Okay. Look, I like Eternals more than most people do. And I'll say the reason, look, it never should have been a Marvel movie. Eternals should have been like the comic book, its own thing. When I was collecting Eternals, it was Jack Kirby. It was separate from the Marvel universe. It was just a story that that they gave to Kirby, and they gave him, and they made it. And I felt like the movie should have been the same way.
Oh, because so when the lore, you cite the comic book.
No,
but when I bring look,
this movie has nothing to do with the lore. What I liked about the movie was it had something to say on the subject of love. Each character in this movie expressed or dealt with love in very different ways, whether it was erotic love, familial love, platonic love, love. That's to me what this was. And if you and this movie would have been a great indie sci-fi movie, but the mistake was it was a Marvel movie. And the audiences don't appreciate indie sci-fi movies like I appreciate indie sci-fi movies. And that's what we got here. And I think that's why most people hated it, because it wasn't what they expected. And it was exploring topics in a way that that would just, you kind of needed to be slapped in the face a few times to say, okay, you get it, you get what's going on here. But having said that, what do you think of what he said? And then I'll tell you what I think about what he had to say.
Well, I think it was one of the first examples where they race and gender swapped an already diverse group of men and women. They made the Asian dude Indian, they made the black dude, like they switched everyone around, even though it didn't need to be switching. And of course, it was the famous like, this movie's going to save lives type of. It did not help the talking around. It was at the height of them ruining everything. It was after, and so yeah, I think it was sort of set up to fail.
Yeah, I remember at the D23 before this movie came out, they brought out the entire cast, and it was a spectacle. I mean, you had Angelina Jolie on stage, you had Salma Hayek on stage, and this was back then when you could just grab a whole bunch of celebrities, throw them on stage, and we're just gonna drool all over it and hand you our money. And it was this movie that realized, no, you can put a whole lot of stars on stage, and we're not going to hand you our money. Because I think what Kumail is doing here is what I've been saying about the industry for the past few months. They're learning all the wrong lessons. If they can't understand why the movie failed and what was wrong with it, and feeling like you had this message you had that you wanted to tell everybody, and failed to get that message across, it comes down to that damn script and that damn story. That's why this movie failed. If you had a better script, a better story, this movie should at least done a lot more than it did.
Yeah, it's also kind of preachy, and you know how it gets. Like, I want to be entertained and not preached to. And if you do it in a preachy way, it has to be like where you just it's there, inherent to the story, the message, as opposed to hit you in the face with it, like you say, slap you in the face. Like, you get it? You understand what we're saying? Which is they've lost a lot of that subtlety across the board.
Yeah, I mean, and people didn't get it. I mean, I don't think this was as preachy as, say the Marvels or some of the other ones. Like I said, I think it explored themes that you would find in an indie sci-fi movie, and
exactly what nerds are, Marvel fans are known for, indie sci-fi. But yeah, like this is kind of one of those things of like, I don't think Kevin had shit planned out either. Like, I think he's a charlatan from the beginning, that he was using some good creators that all had plans. And I'll even include James as one of them, because he was supposed to do the cosmic. And once the people with plans left, we just threw anything that stuck. Right. And unfortunately, because of the political, social, economic, whatever the hell times, it was just so much DEI, and all the stuff suffered.
Yeah. Well, also, I'll go back to the whole indie sci-fi thing. Movie was written and directed by Chloe Zhao, who is an indie filmmaker. Yeah. And she brought her indie sensibilities to a mega budget superhero film. And it didn't work. This was a time where Feige was going after Taika Waititi, Chloe Zhao, Destin Cretton,
Dustin Danyon,
Danyon
doing Spider-Man. Daniel Cretton, Dustin Cretton.
Yeah, Cretton. I think you look at all the people involved in Marvel movies up until that point. They're legit A-list directors, stars, writers, and so on. And then all of a sudden, after Endgame, it's like, well, let's give indie filmmakers a chance. And as much as I love the fact that indie filmmakers are getting a chance, they were not ready for it, and Feige had no way to shepherd or mentor these people into turning them into a mega billion-dollar,
right. But then why that, right? Because this was the height, and you were covering it over at Disney Animation. These are a bunch of people that were casted as directors, not because they were. And I'm going to include Nia DaCosta and the guys that did Miss Marvel. That they're like, we show up. Most of the shit's already written or done. Right. We're not allowed to make any changes, and it becomes apparent that we're just here because of our skin color and our
special
names.
Effects. We'll take care of that,
and we'll take care of that too. And so essentially, you are literally just diversity hires that then take all the failings. To this day, we've still got them saying, "Well, it wasn't my fault. It was this, and this," and a lot of that might actually be true. They did a disservice. Disney, the killer of dreams, I believe, is what that was. It's kind of accurate.
Yeah. Well, and it also shows what happened when Kevin Feige fired everybody around him who was mentoring him, who was helping him. The creative committee. To me, when I heard the creative committee was gone, I kind of saw that as the first domino to fall. To where Kevin Feige is now a silo amongst himself, maybe with Louis D'Esposito.
Correct.
There's just no one there to challenge him to say, you know, and their disdain for comic books, period, also says a lot about where.
And that's the main takeaway from everything Bo DeMayo has said, that it is the disdain for comic books, that you started hearing them tell their actors, don't read the source material because we wouldn't want you to get confused with what we're doing. And then, just make it fun. Just make it fun. We don't care about the lore or the people. And that's not a correct way to make. You can't hate the things you're adapting. That just doesn't work.
Yeah. No, and there used to be a thing where you make movies for your audience. If you make it for your audience, they'll come out and they'll give you their money.
Right. But what they did, and this is the Kathleen Kennedy, is we already have those people. Yeah. We don't need to make Galaxy's Edge look like the original movies. They're going to come anyway. Yeah. We need to make it look like our stuff.
Yeah. We just need to call it Star Wars. And they'll come.
And they'll come. But
the lemmings that they are.
It turns out we're not so fucking stupid. Some of us were, but a lot of us wised up to what's happening.
Look, the sequels made a lot of money. All right, here we go.
Brock Samsonite, shout out Brock. Eternals was originally meant to be part of the Kang storyline. It was going to introduce us to the Beyonders.
Oh, eventually after. So Harry Styles was going to be that conduit for us to the Beyonders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eternals is a mess of a movie, period. Shout out Brain Sync. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was Chloe Zhao had a story in mind. And then I felt like that then Marvel came in and said, well, we like your story. Now add all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Gao FR 3540. Eternals was more forgotten than hated. Because no one remembered them, even Disney, till Captain Four. Yeah, the big Eternal, whatever it was, the Celestial that they turned into adamantium.
Yeah.
Hauser. Was the Eternals the first MCU film to ignore its post-credit storyline with Kit Harington character?
Well, I mean, they were...
It's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, because there was direct connections, not only with the Beyonder and all that stuff, Harry Styles, but also with Blade.
Yeah, poor Blade.
Yeah.
Did you hear that he's gonna show up in the new What If, but it's not going to be voiced by Mahershala?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Eternals felt like it was 300 hours long. Lives up to the name.
Yeah, over on Rumble.
Matt G. Hammond, have you heard the rumor Disney is buying MLB TV?
Wow. So Disney wants to be Netflix. And they're just going to start buying stuff.
I'm shocked Paramount hadn't done that because they're making a grab for all these things.
I mean, I'm pretty pissed off that they're getting WWE premium live events. Yeah, because I'm paying I'm actually getting Peacock for free. But I was paying, $10 to $15 for Peacock, and now when it goes to ESPN, I'm going to have to pay $30 a month. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. You screwed up, WWE. You screwed up. Yeah. All right. Next topic. Oh, speaking of Nia Dacosta.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's get that banner going here.
Shout out, Matt.
Here we go. Nia Dacosta. What the hell was that? Nia Costa says her 28 years later sequel has something the Marvels didn't. A really solid script. Wow. Badger, do we have a story on that one?
We do. Nia Dacosta gives insight to why the Marvels failed. Disney's handling of the Marvels fallout has left Nia Dacosta openly pushing back against the studio's scapegoating. After the film bombed, losing an estimated $300 million and going down as the MCU's most disastrous outing to date, stories leaked blaming Dacosta's inexperience and supposed disengagement on set. It was classic scapegoating. Now, 2 years later at the Edinburgh Film Festival, Dacosta contrasted that experience with her new projects. Speaking about Danny Boyle, she described it as one of the best filmmaking experiences I've had, praising Garland's script. Alex Garland hands you a script and you're like, this is amazing. You don't really have to change it. Although I did. I basically asked for more infected. That was like my big contribution. Her comments also highlighted the root of the Marvels' struggles. Dacosta has consistently said that the movie released was not the one she intended. There was a certain point when I was like, okay, this isn't going to be the movie that I pitched, or even the first version of the movie that I shot. She further admitted that script issues plagued both Candyman and the Marvels. The lack of a really solid script is always going to just wreak havoc on the whole process. Ultimately, while Marvel's chewed up and spit out Dacosta, her new work suggests she's regaining creative freedom.
Yeah, I believe this story. I believe what she has to say. B, it's sad. I think the Marvels really hurt her. Realizing that a big budget movie is coming out, a lot of hype surrounding it, and it sucks, and it, and you realize that what you had in mind going in and what came out were two completely different things. And this just goes back to the what we were just talking about with Chloe Zhao, is Kevin Feige doesn't, for some reason, Disney decided that they need to skimp on some things while put a lot of money into other things. And they decided to skimp on creative and put money into their actors and put money into reshooting and fixing mistakes. And, again, back to the theme of it's good to have a script. Badger, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know. Even Kevin said that, like, well, that's just always how we've done it. It's that Marvel magic. We just film without a finished script. And I think that all goes down to obviously the first Iron Man, because RDJ and Jeff Bridges, Jon Favreau were shooting on the day. But it's like
they're writing the dialogue the day of shooting
and doing each other's scenes to play. But you can't do, not everyone can get away with that seat of your pants. And I think by this point they had long since fallen into formula and a little bit of maybe arrogance of like, oh, we got the people there. They'll just watch whatever we put out. This movie was probably made for a bunch of different reasons. One, because Kevin always said he wanted more female heroes than men. It had heavy BLM at the time, so it had women of color. It's the stupid fake Bechdel test where there's women talking to other women, written by a woman, directed, but it hit all the things at the time, and unfortunately it failed because it hit all the things at the time. And so, like, I finally just watched this now. I got guilted in my chat. Kind of
to
fun.
Watch the Marvels.
Yeah, I kind of watched it. It's kind of fun. The best part about it was Kamala Khan. Real sweet. Yeah. Nice. I'm shocked that we got her as a person, but yeah, no, it's what they said. This is some shit we would put out on Disney Plus.
And here's one thing about Kamala Khan. She's an easy character to write for. You have an enthusiastic actor, and you have a fairly, I don't know, her powers were suspect, but the character itself.
I apologize, Debris. She was a lot less insufferable in that second one. I think by that point she was well aware of the criticism of her. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hated the fact that Captain Marvel was in a loveless marriage with an Asian man.
It's horrible representation. She should have been so well taken care of.
I know. Yeah, and then you mentioned Iron Man. The thing about Iron Man is you at least had creative geniuses behind it. Jon Favreau and I think Robert Downey Jr. at that time was well invested in that character. We learned about the writing style of that movie from Jeff Bridges when he was on the Howard Stern show, and he called it crazy, something he had never done. I think it's one of those, as much as the movie was a success, you'd still never want to make your movie that way. Yet that's the model they chose.
Yeah, you can't continue that. But as you said, they seem completely fine. And I think it was a couple people mentioned, it's like they forgot how to shoot movies and television. They never knew how to shoot television, and they tried to shoot the television the way they did the movies. But even the way they shot the movies is, you can't sustain. I understand a couple months of reshoots, maybe. But the 2, 3, 4, 5 that they were getting into and reshooting whole movies.
And then the money put into it. And then, and then going back to Nia DaCosta, now her name's attached to it, to this garbage.
She's lucky she didn't end up in director jail.
She is.
Because I say that Danny Boyle took a chance on her for this second, Internum movie. He must see something.
Yeah, well, and if you hand her a great script, if she screws it up, then we know where she is. But like she says, sometimes when you're handed a great script, it just directs itself.
Yeah, and this isn't a unique. This is a Disney problem, because you see it in Lucasfilm too, with like Deborah Chow. Sorry, my Asians. Deborah Chow with Kenobi. It was like, that was the wrong person to put on that. these big tent pole, heavy effect, big actors.
Well, and the script again, the script had problems. Breaking so much. How much lore did it break?
all the lore. I don't
the-
even have to point it out anymore. It's just Disney Star Wars. That's its own.
What's your favorite Star Wars? All the Star Wars.
I love all the Star Wars.
What's your favorite lore? All the lore.
Yeah. Again, you just got to get people that love these projects, because when they do, like Fallout, no matter what you think, it seems very apparent he actually does love the lore, and that's all I need.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. To your comment.
CD Stein 69, solid script because she didn't write it like her last two failures.
Yeah, directors don't need to be writers. I mean, they just need to be given a great script, manage people, and get good performances. They don't need to be writers.
Yeah. Martian. Directors take these gigs because of the clout. They're effectively managers of the project, not directors who need to bring a vision. Writers are also told what to write with little leeway. That's broadly true, but not always true, especially since she specifically said she had a vision and she wrote the first drafts and then they changed it.
Yeah. Aren't there WGA rules against that?
Yeah.
What's the point of a writer now?
Iron Man 1 is also a fraction of the budget compared to modern MCU movies. That is true.
Yeah. And let's also not forget RDJ got very little money for Iron Man.
Didn't he get back end?
I don't know if he got back end, but it was all from what I remember is they were definitely taking a risk with him.
Right, because his insurance, and I think that's the story that like Mel Gibson had to vouch for him or something like that at the time.
Yeah.
It just tells you what his clout was like.
Yeah, because your recovering actor may slip and screw up your entire movie.
Bill S. Preston Esquire, the Kamala Khan actress is talented. She was doing her best with the script. Yeah, Mon Vellani. Yeah. Man of ethnicity. Kamala was the only thing anyone liked about it. Can't say I've seen anyone say a mean word about her. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Ms. Marvel never should have been a superhero movie. It should have just been about a Muslim family.
Yeah.
There was a lot of drama in that could have worked. All right. Moving on. Here we go. It's no secret that where is this thing here? Oh yeah, it's no secret. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite characters.
Alan.
Cummings. Alan Cummings. It's funny because we can't print his name on our website because it'll get it'll get flagged.
Is it really?
Well, our profanity filter, because Google requires it, blocks his name. Let's see. Alan Cummings talks really healing experience reprising Nightcrawler in Avengers Doomsday after X2, of which he only appeared once.
Yeah, which that opening sequence is amazing. Let's see. Alan Cummings on his return to Nightcrawler role. Alan Cummings says stepping back into the role of Nightcrawler for Avengers Doomsday was unexpectedly healing after his miserable time in 2003's X2 X-Men United. At the Televerse 2025 conference, he revealed he just finished filming the Russo brothers' massive MCU entry, which is slated for May 2026. Reflecting on his earlier struggles, Cumming admitted that while X2 was a great film, the process was grueling. He spent like 4.5 to 5 hours in makeup daily. A clash with director Bryan Singer, speaking of the director's jail, with director Bryan Singer, leaving the experience terrible. This time, however, the return felt cathartic. It was actually really, in a sort of ooey gooey way, it was really healing and really nice to go back to something that was a terrible experience when I did it the first time. At 60, Cumming was especially surprised to be back in the superhero action. I did not think I would be doing stunts, playing a superhero in my 60s, so that was great. He managed to shoot quickly with a green screen and various things and little scenes of people here and there, describing the process as pretty stealthy. While Marvel has kept Doomsday's plot under wraps, Cumming previously hinted his Nightcrawler could even square off against Mr. Fantastic, a matchup sure to excite fans.
What?
Are you excited?
You had me up until that last part there. Why would
fight Pedro?
Why is Nightcrawler fighting Pedro.
Oh,
Fighting
well,
yeah.
I do believe that's going to be the theme of Doomsday, is having all the heroes square off against each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like he's got some action requiring stunt work, which goes against my idea that Doomsday is just going to be a big cameo fest. Maybe
no, it sounds like that's exactly what it's going to be, Alan. I think it's going to be a cameo fest, and what they have now are a bunch of scenes, and they have no idea where they're going to put it. But they've got scenes of Nightcrawler to throw in there. Like, I think that was one of the first reports is we're shooting, and most of the script's finished, but the end isn't finished. And what that means is we know things that happen. We know buttons that are pushed, but we don't know which hero pushes which button and says which quippy line based on scheduling and all that. So, yeah, it's going to be a cameo shit show.
Yeah. And it sounds like he came in for a day and they just told him, okay, do a flip. All right, now a jump, now a bounce. Now look really scary in the camera. Now stick your butt out and we'll animate the tail after.
It sounds like Multiverse of Madness, where they had everyone come in on a blue screen and just say their lines, throw it, and then we'll just put you wherever we find room.
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, but I'm glad his traumatic experience from X2 was he found healing through it.
Yeah, I believe he and Rebecca Romaine to put on the Mystique uniform, which been, like he said, 4 or 5, 8 hours, I think, in her case.
Yeah.
Like, you show up at 3 a.m. just to sit there for 5 or 6 hours and get all your makeup put on before you even shoot for 12 hours. So
yeah. Well, and I also don't understand. I don't understand why Nightcrawler needed all that. He had face markings and things on it. Dude.
Yeah, presumably why it was 4 instead of the 8 for her, because it's just the hands and the
but yeah, my recollection of the comics, he didn't have face markings. He was just blue.
They always got to do extra.
Yeah,
you put your stamp on it.
All right, let's move on to our next story. We have a guest coming up, actually. The director of the film We're Not Safe Here, Solomon Gray, is going to come and join us, and we're going to talk about his movie. But let's move on to this always important topic of the top upcoming Marvel MCU movies with the most box office potential.
So much potential.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to make a list of 10, I'm surprised. I'm curious as to what didn't make it.
Are there 10? That's what I would like to know. Yeah.
All right, let's go through this. Here we go. Confirmed MCU films that could do well in theaters: Spider-Man Brand New Day. Okay, most likely Blade movie reboot.
That's never gonna happen.
Avengers Doomsday. I feel like this is the last Jedi of the MCU at the moment. It'll do well. Avengers Secret Wars. Black Panther 3, really? Had they announced that?
They're going to get Coogler, and I think they already said they know who they want to be.
Okay, Marvel X-Men movie. Thor 5.
We're already into like 2029, almost 2030, by the way, but at this point of movies.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. Doctor Strange 3. Deadpool 4. Okay, I guess that's it. Wow. Are these movies actually being made?
Okay, let's start with the first one, Spider-Man Brand New Day. That is absolutely, obviously being made. It's got all the hype because of the shots of his suit, and it looks great just him on the street. People like John Barenthal. You're hearing a bunch of different villains. He's apparently going to open with a montage scene. That's why you've got all these extra villains. All the things we want.
And Yelena's in it, maybe.
And that's really what puts it over the top for me, is Yelena Belova in it.
That's
8 to 9. This could possibly make $1 billion if we get like Iron Man or a Punisher in the Iron Man suit, like the spray painted black with the skull and the cool fight scenes. It could potentially.
Yeah, it could do it.
Spider-Man's still popular worldwide.
I think it'll do better than Fantastic Four.
That is almost assured.
Blade movie reboot. I mean, this article just sounds like wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Blade movie reboot. It just doesn't sound like Mahershala Ali is satisfied.
He's been Blade since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through 4 or 5 revisions.
Yeah.
Turned down for various reasons. The last time we heard from them is saying that we didn't just want to put him in a leather jacket and have him killing vampires, but that's exactly what we wanted.
Right. Momentum is dying on this one.
It's
definitely,
if not gone.
Okay, Avengers Doomsday. I mean, they're locked in. They're filming it. But is it going to be The Last Jedi, where we come out blindly and give it $1 billion?
This one is really banking on Robert Downey Jr.'s performance.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the more we hear about what they're doing with it. He's earning every bit of that 90 million plus.
Right. And we talk about the incursions. They've not really brought that storyline into anything.
No,
right?
But we
don't even know if it is about the incursions. And it's not like the incursion story was a good one in the first place.
Yeah, well, I think this is to maybe answer their own. Like, if we wanted to talk about incursion, someone was saying, he's after Captain America when he took that time with Peggy, right? He put back the stones and then was in a branch universe.
Right.
That's something that caused an incursion. Spider-Man, when he messed up Strange's spell, that opened up the reality and caused an incursion. It's like there's just been one,
right?
Multiple.
But I mean, did you read Bendis's Age of Ultron?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
I don't think Feige did either.
Yeah, of course he did.
Don't worry.
But it was the Age of Ultron that started the incursions. It was,
that's the canon one that does it, is the Ultron.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you read the story, it's basically Ultron destroys the world, and the only person left is Wolverine and Sue Storm.
Yeah,
and they do a massive time travel thing that basically caused to have undone what Ultron did is what caused the incursion. So he saved the universe.
That's the last one. That's it. Endgame, right? They went back in time to reverse the snap.
Right.
That's essentially the same thing, right? They fixed a big boom with time travel, and you're not supposed to do that.
And they brought up they told the story of Ultron in What If as well. But again, they're not setting that up, and you're assuming people watch these things.
It looks like it's a 2-part movie for them to have all the characters fight each other until we can reset and just have a singular timeline where the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and all of them have already and always existed together.
Yeah, well, it's like The Last Jedi. They think that people come out in mass to see Doomsday, so they'll certainly come out to see the sequel, Secret Wars, and Sebastian Stan has way too much lipstick in this photo. All right, Black Panther 3. Who's asking for it? And they're saying it just this one feels like it's based on rumor. Gonna star Damson Idris from F1. I mean, who said that?
I mean, I liked him in F1, but yeah, the first one was a moment. He was great in Civil War. The first one was fine, and then after that, it's like you should have just recast it.
All right. Let me see. Just checking time here. Let's see. Oh, Marvel's X-Men movie. Yeah, they'll screw it up.
Yeah, because this is also this is the recasted version after Secret Wars. That's supposed to be younger and reportedly with no Wolverine, because Hugh Jackman's really good to play that character till he's 90.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's the feeling that as much talk as Marvel's put out that they've learned their lesson and changed their way, I don't think we're seeing evidence that they've learned their lesson or changed their way.
No.
And if they were, I'd probably be more excited about an X-Men movie than this.
Yeah.
Thor 5. As long as Taika Waititi doesn't direct it, maybe there's a story there.
Chris had to come out and do a little bit of saving face, where he essentially said he doesn't want to work with these artsy fartsy directors anymore. He was talking about Taika, and he had to come back. Oh, I totally didn't mean Taika, but also, if I come back with Thor, I did serious. I did mean Taika. Yeah.
Let's just say I'm more interested in a Hulk Hogan movie from Chris Hemsworth than a Thor movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This feels like a fan.
This is
wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if they could do it, but Doctor Strange 3, why?
Talk about end credit scenes that didn't get picked up. The end with Charlize Theron shows up and he has a third eye. Clea or whatever. And
maybe he needs the money.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool 4 would be the only thing that that would make sense from a fan, wishful thinking standpoint. Yeah, okay. Worked once, maybe it'll work again.
Of course, they're going to show up in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Okay. Well, let's go to comments and then we'll do one more before our guest shows up. Here we go.
Rhaegar Targaryen Prime. I like how they kept his Catholicism canon in X-Men 97. Yeah. if you only knew what they wanted him to not keep canon and change, I weep for the second season of that show. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a X-Men the animated series panel. I think it was Comic-Con, and I remember the actors were like, talking about, because there was another episode where featuring Nightcrawler's Catholicism, and how a lot of people responded positively to that, especially even the actors thought it was an amazing moment for them, and surprised that it was even in the series.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
much respect to it. That opening scene in X2 was freaking amazing. Yeah, where Nightcrawler infiltrates the White House.
Yeah,
it's like brainwashed. Andy Likes Stuff channel. So are we to assume Doomsday is not filmed in real world and just fake CGI?
Isn't that on par for Marvel now?
They're not going to Latvia, and they will not be real Doombots, probably.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I don't care, Bill. I don't care who wins as long as Pedro loses. Yeah.
Oh, so you want Pedro to make the ultimate sacrifice?
Makoto, cameos is the only way to get audiences to see movies now.
Yeah.
It's a big one. Also, only Spider-Man and Doomsday, maybe, like money-wise.
All right. And then
Jan Hugh gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Shout out from an owl.
All right. And we are like really on the bubble here. So if our guest is ready for the interview, we could do it right away. If we're good. Okay. Yeah. So let's reset here. We've got a special guest joining us. He is he is the director. Okay. Let me set this up better for clip purposes. We've got a special guest joining us on the Hollywood on the Rocks. It is the director of the upcoming horror film We're Not Safe Here, director Solomon Gray. Hi, Solomon. How you doing?
How you doing, Alan?
Very good. This is Angry Badger.
Hi. Hello, Angry Badger.
Sorry. I'm a sub. Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Let's get ourselves set up here. But
sure.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Tell us about your film We're Not Safe Here.
Sure. Excited to be here. So this is it's a horror movie, and it's about a missing woman who suddenly appears on her friend's doorstep, and really the movie unfolds over the course of a night where she tells her friend what happened to her. And it's this story about this malevolent force that's bringing her nightmares to life, and now it could be coming for both of them. It may or may not be coming for both of them, and that's really, you got to watch the movie to find out what happens.
All right. Well, let's play the trailer, and then let's talk about it. All right. Here we go.
One night, this little girl wakes up, gets out of bed, and stabs her mom.
The only sounds I hear are the birds chirping. But then I hear something else.
Who are you? And I don't know if I can keep it inside me any longer. I keep hearing something.
You have questions.
So you're
curious.
What was that? There are people. Shadows all around me. I know they're moving closer. It's okay.
He's coming. It's okay to be afraid.
Wow. Hey, kudos to your trailer guy.
Right?
Gal. That pretty much sets it straight. What was the inspiration behind We're Not Safe Here?
That's a good question. I think a movie that I love that isn't a horror movie, but which I always felt like could be grist for a horror movie was a movie called My Dinner with Andre, which is just it's a very small it's a movie from the I think it was like 1980, and it's just two people having a conversation. And I thought, and it's more a conversation about life and life choices and things like that. And I always thought it would be really fun to try to take that energy and the energy of like the power of a conversation and to sort of import that into the horror like genre and to see how that would play out. And that's largely what is going on in We're Not Safe Here. It's this woman's story about what happened to her, and then it's sort of how that story affects both of them. So that's probably the inspiration as much as anything else.
Did you write it as well, or?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, so how did it come together? How did it get from your brain to the first day of production?
Messily. I mean, it started off. I mean, this movie. I wrote this movie probably 7 years ago. Went through all kinds of drafts. There were different iterations, and Sonny Molly, who I worked with and who's a producer, was like kind of instrumental in sort of helping me kind of shape it. And then a lot of things you write, you sort of write it and forget it. This is something where I started to write it, and it's one of those things where an idea is in your head, like I could make this. And then it went from being I could make this to like I really want to make this. And then after a while it was like I need to make this. And by the time we got to the pandemic, maybe it was I had too much free time, but we started to really talk seriously about, okay, how can we make this happen? And that's really when we shot the movie during the pandemic, and it was my first feature. So I'm sure I made all of the rookie mistakes you could make, but that's why you have a great crew and a great cast. And I think we put together a really nice final product. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, we have a lot of indie filmmakers watching us, and I always like to ask people who got their movie made a lot of like shop questions. And can you talk about, because it sounds like you mentioned that the idea was stirring around for a long time, and the script was. Can you describe that idea of, I think we would all love to write a finished script in 3 months, but when it takes years, can you speak to that?
Sure. I mean, I think it's easy to write a script in 3 months. I think it's hard to write a good one in 3 months. People do it. I'm not one of those people. For me, I think a lot of it is that, like, to just be relentless, right? And to not allow the voices in your head and the self-doubt to sort of talk you out of, well, maybe this isn't. It's really trying to think in terms of, well, okay, what about the next draft? What about the next draft? It's constant state of rewriting. And honestly, like the way I at least approached directing it is like directing is just writing. It's rewriting. You're writing. You're continuing to write the script, except you're writing it with cameras and with actors. And then you get into the post room, and you're continuing to write. You're writing in the editorial room. So,
are there some scenes that played differently when you actually were on set filming it that did not go how you thought it was when it's just on paper?
Yeah, and that's sort of like it. There's this. The one conscious decision I made is to I don't want to be, I don't know what the opposite of auteur theory is, but like, that's what I approached. It's like, I'm going to be super humble about this and super open to and alive to what kinds of changes might be needed, and not room to dig in. Yeah. And room for other opinions and to really have that kind of open environment. And what you find is that what I found was that there were so many things that that I necessarily didn't anticipate that we said, well, let's try it. And it worked great. Other things I was sure was going to work, didn't necessarily work as well, and other things that I thought I'll write it, but I don't know if it's going to necessarily go great, that went fantastic. So it's like you kind of have to keep an open mind and like have that, to indie filmmaking, you kind of have to have that like that sort of punk philosophy, like let's just like go out there and put on a show and see what happens. and that sort of informs, like, I think every step of the process with this movie.
And so I'm curious in terms of, you mentioned about having people see it and talk about what was your criticism process? Did you have a table read? Just people give them the script and they comment on it?
Yeah, I mean, we had, like, at a very early stage, there was a table read. We got some comments. We went back. We this was even before like the current, like there was another iteration of this script where there was basically some friends of mine, very talented filmmaker friends, more talented than I am, got together like, let's try making this. We did a table read. We got some notes. That during the pandemic, especially, like that production version kind of fell apart. And but those notes informed like the next draft of the script. And then once we got into a shape where like Sonny thought it was good and I thought it was good, then the actors, take a look at it, and their notes were tremendous. I mean, when you have two people, and our leads are tremendous. So like when Sharmita and Haley were like looking at the script, there's a lot of dialogue they got to parse through. So one of the things they're doing as they're going through it is like, I feel awkward saying it this way. So how would you say it? And there's a lot of that kind of, again, like the writing process like never stops. So it's sort of an organic process that even like as we're shooting, certain things aren't working, so you're kind of making changes on the fly. But what that requires is to like, get out of your head like the million logistical things that are going on, and really like listen and pay attention to what's going on, which sounds like, well, yeah, but it's surprisingly hard, given the number of like moving parts, and when in a fundamental way, everything you're doing, you're kind of doing for the first time. But that was sort of like my North Star when I was trying to when we were making this, was like, okay, just like pay attention and see if you can like give notes or like make changes for the next take. And I think that drove the improvement over time.
Yeah, and I find out someone had given me that advice of when you're done with that first script, the one that you think is the one to go, do a table read. And it's something about hearing it out loud and having other people hear it out loud. The fact that you said that, did you say there were a lot of radical changes made after that table read?
Yeah, and it's not even stuff that like necessarily people are saying. There are those notes, and there was a lot of them that we made changes, but it's also like, it's one thing you're writing stuff on the page, you're like, oh man, this sounds great in my head, and then you're hearing people actually say it, and you're like, oh, this is who wrote this stuff. Then you kind of go back, you're like, all right, now, like I think from that table read, like one of the things I try to do now is like, even when I'm just like writing on my own, I speak it out loud sometimes if I think I'm a little too sure of how it sounds, and it's amazing how different it sounds when you're actually speaking those words out loud. It is a good tip.
Okay, I have one last question before we go to our audience who has also questions. And this is something that we debated on Monday after watching Alien Earth. And one of the points that I brought up was, when you watch Alien Earth, it basically goes through the lore of Alien, where all the pieces were set, the whole corporate intrigue. But to me, the first movie I felt like was more about the scares than it was about the lore. And do you see it that way? And how do you have a story to tell, but at the same time it's a horror story, and so you have to have the scares. What is your thoughts on the balance of that?
I think, I mean, I like to preach the gospel when I'm talking with my friends about what movies are good and aren't. I like to preach the gospel of not over explaining in horror movies. I think over explaining horror movies, I know there's like this necessity to like, this natural urge, like you want to button everything up, but I think all horror is all fear is fear of the unknown, right? So every movie is like a puzzle, but a horror movie should always have some pieces missing. And the art is trying to figure out how to give people enough so that you can kind of see there's a story there, but without necessarily like buttoning up every single detail. Like for me, like the one of the greatest examples of that is like in The Strangers, when at the end Liv Tyler says, you know, why are you doing this to us? And the answer is because you were home. And to me, that's like, that is the perfect response that answers absolutely nothing. And to me, that's what horror is all about. Like kind of looking into the void and seeing nothing. So
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like that, you know, it's like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the biggest horror film, but it's like a roller coaster where you have that long ascent to the first big drop, and but you've got to build up a lot of tension. You got to make people scared of that first big drop. You know,
yeah.
is that kind of is that what horror films should have, or is that, you know, I'm obviously saying this is your opinion, but yeah.
No. I mean, it's right. It's as my opinion, and I think it's great that you mentioned the roller coaster analogy because I always use that. I use it a little differently though. For me, if you're like a horror fan, like horror can sometimes there are certain horror movies where it feels like the roller coaster definitely it's like you have the same drops and you have the same. What I'm always interested in those horror movies that sort of push the envelope and like organize where the dips and the rises are in a way that it feels like different. Like even like Blair Witch. Blair Witch is like, if you've ever seen it, it's like people wandering around in the woods for a very long period of time. And then in the last 15-20 minutes, it's just like constant action and what the hell is going on, and then the movie stops. To me, that's really daring, and that's a really different way to do things. And I think that's part of the fun of horror is trying to rebuild the roller coaster in a slightly different way so that it feels new.
Does this movie play by the like weapons? When I was watching, I was like, and there's going to be a and they did the jump scare because it just goes according to the rules, right? Of how long you're panning into something. You're basically, you tried to avoid that, right? See how long maybe you can build tension before doing the
Yeah, like I
reveal.
think there are some jump scares in this, but I tend to be like I tend to feel like the better route. And look, we're a lower budget movie. We don't necessarily have all the tools at our disposal for like big scare. But what you try and do is sort of build this atmosphere of dread and try to ratchet it up and ratchet it up and ratchet it up. And so I think that was sort of the approach we wanted to take with that, and to sort of again, that's our way of sort of building the roller coaster differently until when it does drop it
Right.
feels new, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to our audience questions.
Sure.
Badger, if you will.
Sure. I will not eat the bugs. Asks, hi Solomon. I wanted to know what were the film or films that left an impression on you to pursue a career in it. Film.
I mean, thank you for that question. It's a great question. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, so all of the horror films that like, I grew up on a steady diet of Halloween, of Friday the 13th, of Scream, Blair Witch Project. I thought Paranormal Activity was like unbelievable. It Follows, like most of the movies that like kind of like ended up sort of sinking into my consciousness and staying there and kind of living there were like horror movies. Or like most recently there was a movie, I mean, you've probably heard of it, called Skinamarink, that I just thought was like unbelievable. And just such a bold movie. So I think it's just I love the genre because just, I don't know, by dint of my personality, the movies that I remember and that really stick with me tend to be horror movies.
Yeah. All right.
AD Ellis, shout out. Your lead actress, Haley McFarland, also featured in a recent comedy, Film Threat. Reviewed it. Creative team called American Comic. What made her the perfect pick for this horror film?
She is amazing. Her ability to there are two. What I guess I'll say is I want to give shout outs to Sharmita and Haley, the two leads here, and they both had very challenging jobs and they had very different jobs. Haley has to tell a very long story about what happened to her, and it's this long, bizarre, just wild story. And her ability to project complete sincerity while she's conveying these like absolutely off the wall things that are going on and happening to her, and her ability is just amazing. And Sharmita had to be kind of her friend who's like listening to this story and really sort of her acting challenges. I don't say as much, but I have to like be acting as I'm receiving this story and as it's sort of landing on me. They both did an amazing job, but what made Haley so perfect is her ability to like really absorb this material. She really made it her own. What I had said before about like the actors almost sort of co-writing their lines in a way, like she came forward with like real interesting opinions that we took as far as like ways to make the story resonate better, ways that were a little clunky, ways that we could like take shortcuts. And she was just so creatively engaged in what we were doing. She was perfect. I think anyone who sees it will agree, like, wow, Haley was amazing.
Yeah, it's the difference between reciting dialogue and feeling authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she embodies that character and just every aspect of it. She was completely locked in. Also, just like she didn't like we did a lot of takes. Like she did not do a bad take. It was wild. Like she's she's giving a lot of lines, and she would give us different shades of like the same story or part of the story. On a dime. So it's just I'm in awe of actors after seeing them perform and just their ability to do their jobs and their professionalism. It was pretty eye-opening.
All right. Kevin Ties asks, here it comes. How did you gather your crew? Where did you film and how did you gather your crew?
We filmed in Louisville, Kentucky, and a lot of the crew were Sonny has made some movies in or around Kentucky. He made a movie called Family Blood in Kentucky, so he knew a lot of the people he had there were folks. Uh, they were really talented, so he suggested Kentucky also because we also wanted houses with a particular kind of character, because at least the front half of the movie is taking place in this house. And what Kentucky has are shotgun shacks, which are like they're a very specific kind of house. They're very they have long hallways. They're very creepy, and it because the house is almost kind of like a character in the movie. So the combination of having a house available and having crew who Sonny worked with before, and they were like to a human amazing. So I kind of got to sort of ride on Sonny's coattails when it came to the crew, and I was very fortunate for that.
Okay, we got time for two more questions. Let's see. Go ahead, Badger.
Solomon, what are some things to keep in mind? This is from LFC fan. What are some things to keep in mind when writing a low budget film? State tax incentives, small number of locations.
I mean, how much was Kentucky in your mind when you're writing this?
I'm from New Jersey, so I was like writing it, to be perfectly honest, I was writing it for my parents' house. I was like, they have to let me do it. It's like they don't have a choice. By the way, they said no. And so once I found that out, I was, then we started to open up possibilities. Kentucky was more like we had some knowns there. We wouldn't have to like they have a great it's a great creative center, so we wouldn't have to like go outside the state for like crew or things like that. So it sort of minimized travel costs. But like other kinds of things, when writing is, I mean, don't write too many locations. Inside locations are a little cheaper than outside. But look, we have outside locations too. But you just, in a sense of being budget conscious, and also like kind of that first draft, like writing it as if you were going to have to make it, right? Like as you're writing it, just think to yourself, like, how would I shoot this? And if you can kind of talk yourself into some way of doing it, keep on writing. If not, maybe write, but also make a note, like, is there a cheaper, better way to do this?
Yeah.
I do think though the first draft should be all about the imagination, and then like the second and third draft should be more about if you're really committed to making it, kind of trying to tighten it up to see like to like maximize your budget.
Yeah, and I think your parents didn't want you bringing bad mojo into their house.
That's kind of what they said. Like, guys, it's a movie. They didn't agree.
All right, last question from Krizik. Will this film be releasing for cinemas or direct streaming? If cinema, will it be limited run, or will it be a single day night event, Fathom event, for example?
It is. It's a limited run. I believe there are three. It's going to be playing in 3 cities. I think it's going to be playing in Atlanta, outside Dallas, like a little bit outside Dallas. I think it's called the Colony, and LA. So it won't be a Fathom event. It'll be playing there for a week or for however long it plays, and it'll also be VOD.
Yeah, I'm being told it's both. Yeah, limited theatrical and VOD this Friday.
Correct, on Friday.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you just giving us some of the behind the scenes of your film.
I really appreciate you having me, and thanks again.
Thank you. All right. Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see. You've got to write a script knowing that you actually have to film it. If only those big budget Hollywood films would do that. And don't be so dogmatic. Got to be open to your actors saying, "This, you can write this shit, George, but you can't say it."
Yeah.
So yeah, good.
Well, I think the big thing also is, I do come across some filmmakers who are beholden to their script. Like my words are biblical; they are canon to life, and no, you really got to open yourself up to criticism, and that it was Stephen Merchant who said, yeah, you should do a table read once you have that script that you think is perfect down, and then go for it. All right. We got one last story and then we'll end the show. And this kind of has to do, I guess we could transition it kind of into what you have going this week. But let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bo DeMayo. Yeah, let me pull up the story here.
Because I don't think I have notes on this one.
No, we'll just read his tweet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I've heard him speak intimately about, he's not a fan. Would you believe it?
of current day Marvel?
Of Kevin. Yeah, no, Kevin's just not. DeMayo doesn't
like
know.
Him. He's I mean, does he want to work again? Yeah. Does he want to make nice with Kevin again and get that juicy job? And
not here.
Sucks your soul out.
Something.
Yeah, so this came recently out of Bo DeMayo's X feed. Why don't you read it for us?
Yes. Yep. I was told this in a phone call after episode 5 premiered. I asked the executive if Kevin was happy because, stupidly, I still wanted to help the studio out. Their response was a long pause. And then I was told that he'd be happier if fans and audiences weren't using it as a referendum on what the MCU needs to be doing to fix itself. What makes it worse, I think, is that Kevin has nothing to do with X-Men 97 and could take no credit for it. Even internally, before the show aired, Marvel employees were reaching out to me asking how I was able to make a show this good, given where the studio was and how it's the best thing the studio had done. With their praise, I noticed more and more that I was becoming a threat and a regret to studio leadership. And again, Kevin and Lou couldn't even be bothered to come to the premiere of the show at the El Capitan. They didn't show up to thank fans. They didn't show up to thank Mintas, the Lulls and Houston, or the OG voice cast for how they built the foundation back in the 90s of the MCU. Nope, we were just a little cartoon that wasn't sexy enough or taken seriously enough to warrant the great Kevin Feige to attend.
Well, first, I feel seen. I mean, honestly, we should feel seen. That Marvel knows what we're saying about them.
Yeah, but it's what we all said from the beginning, and it's why the show was good. Bo likes the material. Bo knows the material. Brad Winterbaum hired him because they had nerd conversations together, and one of us snuck in and made a whole complete story Bible that he got them to agreed upon, and then spent a year fighting them to keep that story Bible intact, which is why what we got, and why he got fired for being difficult, because his difficult was him saying, hey man, you agreed to this. Stop trying to change it.
Yeah. Well, the line that gets me here is in the second paragraph. Their response was a long pause, and then I was told he'd be happier if fans and audiences weren't using it as a referendum on what the MCU needs to be doing to fix itself.
Lore. Pay attention to the lore.
Mm-hmm. That somehow you'd make people happy, that you'd have a successful product if you just stuck with what people liked about that IP in the first place.
Wow. And that's the other big one, right? Is that Kevin and his little cohorts, they just want a Kevin Feige production. Like they want the credit for it all, not someone else.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's an arrogance there. It's the idea of, well, look, you had your little comic books, but we're master storytellers. You know, we are cinema, and we're going to, you're going to like what we give you because we're the experts and you're not.
It's the sheer hubris line from Picard, and that's shockingly also one of the series that suffered from it, or the J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay for Rings of Power. They thought they knew better. They thought they could improve it with their politics, their morals, their all of it, and all it does is make it less. All it does is make it less.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's think a little more sinister. We grew up on comic books. The comic books shaped us, and they don't like who we've become.
Oh,
and so they're going to come and
turning.
Yeah. So they're going to come in and take over and make Cyclops say different things, make Superman say different things. And we're just going to accept it because that's who they are, not realizing that it's the people, it's who these characters are that attracted us to them.
We grew up in an age of heroes, and they systematically destroyed every single one of the heroes, from Indiana to Luke to they systematically by design emasculated and ruined them. And now we're in this weird, we want heroes to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it also brings up what I'm seeing happen in television now, but it's the idea that, what we're going to do? We're going to make X-Men, and we're going to bring the people back who really love it. And they're going to make a great first season. Mm-hmm. And when they do that, and when they start chiming in on what great they are and how much, based on the original material, we're going to then take it away from them in the second season and tell our story now. So we gave you, we threw the herring out. You loved the first season. Now we're going to destroy the second season.
Bait and switch.
Yeah. The great example of it recently is the Roseanne series, the reboot, where, Roseanne was brought in. She had her writers. She had a clear vision for what the show would be. And she produced a great first season. And then they need to get rid of her. In fact, if you watch your documentary in the second season, they started writing the second season without her.
Yeah.
And then she started to complain.
Well, I thought she was Jewish. But also, if you look at her picture, she does not look like a black lady. I believe they just wanted her fired because of her politics and other things. Yes.
And so that's the other sinister thing they're doing is, we'll give you exactly what you want. And so all that to say is, beware Fallout. They're going to sorely ruin it for you.
Yeah. Well, and that just wait till season 2 of X-Men 97 comes out. Every change they wanted to change, but Bo was in the way. They have changed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Bo, don't you have a?
Yeah. Diabolical Souls presents every Sunday night. We have Late Night with Gooch and Gang, and Bo will be on again. And he's got fire in there. He's gonna be talking about all the things.
Yeah. Feel like we're gonna hear a lot about Kevin Feige on
a lot. Him and his cohorts.
All right.
A little cabal of his own.
Okay, well, that's our show for today. I'm supposed to which music is it? Is it this one? No, that's not it.
Quick, bring it up.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Oh, hey.
Yo, my God, a red boy.
Hey, oh my God.
Mikhail Gorbachev. Shout out, Mr. Gorbachev, for $100 red boy.
Gosh, that Russian money.
And Ing the Merciless. The best thing as I'm getting to pack up from being on the road for work. What did you guys think about War 2? Oh, also, longtime listener, second-time caller, shout out.
War 2 is, I'm hoping to see it. I don't know that I'll be able to see it by Friday's show.
Is this the sequel to Jason Statham and Jet Li's War 2? What is War 2?
No, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's an Asian film.
Oh, well, then no, I'm sorry. That representation is not for me. That's for Alan. Unless he tells me I can watch it, then I'll watch it.
All right. But thank you for that, Mikhail Gorbachev. Look, I hope your former country gets back on track. But thank you for that super chat. And look, I know there's is it this one?
Yes.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Badger, tell us what you got coming up.
Badgercast, normally right now, but moved it to 3:30. So in 30 minutes, go check out Badgercast. We'll be talking about all the things. It's the copious news stories that have all broken today.
All right. And look, Chris will probably be back on Friday, Lord willing. He has seen Primitive War. We will talk about that. I will hope to have seen it. We saw the movie Relay starring Lily James. There's a Devo doc. There's Alien episode 3. Eden, speaking about boobs. I mean, about Sydney Sweeney. And I think that's it. Highest, Lowest, Trust. A bunch of movies coming out, and we have special guests coming up as well. It's the music. Okay, so with that,
Alan, do you have anything to say?
Maybe if I could find the clip. If this were organized better.
Producing is hard.
It is. Producing is hard. Streaming is hard. I don't. So here we go.